This is a response video from somebody I subscribe to. She's Canadian, lives in the same province as I do, and she appears to be a little pissed off with the justice system. I've had a lot of experience with the justice system, so I'm posting a response. What I have experienced proves beyond doubt that our justice system, no matter what country we live in, can never, ever recognize right from wrong. And the reason it can't is because of judges. And it doesn't matter how much you educate them, how much they memorize what a law is, they don't follow the law. They're not allowed to follow the law. If they see a crime taking place in a courtroom, they can't act or report a crime or enforce any form of criminal behavior, like force any justice, until a lawyer happens to demand it. And if you can only afford a cheap attorney, they don't even know how to argue. The ones that know how to argue are, the higher paying attorneys, the ones that will be in a courtroom 24/7 until a judge says yes. The other problem with judges is they base everything on by their perceptions. They are judges, but yet they're human and perceive life from their perspective. And you gotta admit, all judges are friggin' wealthy. In my particular case, it was dealing with child support, which this is the perfect lawsuit to keep perpetuating, because it's a war against mothers and fathers. Fathers have a point of view, mothers have a point of view. But within that fight, there are both good and bad mothers and fathers, and we're not able to distinguish that there's a criminal element within mothers and fathers. But as long as we keep the fight against, the male side against the female side, that war will always continue. We will never want to solve it, because which side do you want to take? Zero, zero people are interested in forming together and saying something's a little wrong here. This is also a lawsuit that perpetuates poverty. If your kids don't have enough food to eat, if they don't have shelter, and you're dealing with a great deal of abuse, and typically it's the mothers that are suffering from it. I mean, you can look at any third world country, when they film these children in poverty, do you see a man there helping a child, or are they mostly women? On the most part, it's women that are looking after children. And you put women in poverty, there's no damn way you're going to be able to afford that expensive attorney. In my particular case, I was actually fighting a $1 million corporation, an oil field, who happened to have been paying my ex-husband's attorney fees, and naturally didn't report it as an income. It was a gift that they never reported to Revenue Canada, so he never had to pay any taxes on it. But in the meantime, my ex had very good representation, while I had legal aid who didn't even read my file, did not represent me in any way, shape, or form. And even my attempts to try and show a judge what was going on, my evidence was always rejected. Judges do not want to see what they don't want to see. And right away, they won't even let you submit evidence into a case if a judge decides that we don't want you to win, we want you to lose, so we're not going to take that evidence because it's not relevant. In my particular case, I was supporting children. They needed food and they needed shelter. I had gone back to school and taken an education in programming, but there was a great deal of emotional abuse that was turning into physical abuse, um, which was preventing me from working. No employer will hire you if you've got that level of abuse going on. No employer will hire you if you have to be in court 24/7. And that's what these wealthy people do, is they will take you into court 24/7. So, I've even had attorneys say, I get paid to do this. I'm here every day. It's not a matter of whether the law says I'm right or wrong. It's a matter of how long can you play this game, because I get paid to play this game 24/7. Can you afford to work and feed your kids, and be in court all the time? I've had lawyers say that to me. At the end of the day, the reason why I had to constantly go into a court system was because I had court orders that said I had to pay the deadbeat child support for the very kids that lived in my home. So while I had to live in on low income, because that's the only place you can get a job, is by the low income. So our system is kind of needing you to be in poverty, because who else is going to do the slave labor for that level of money? Anybody that can't find anything else. So education didn't mean a damn thing if you're dealing with an awful lot of abuse. And while I was living on low income, minimum wage, and feeding my kids and having court orders that I had to pay him child support, that was a lawsuit that I kind of had to fight. Kind of lost my mind when I seen that our justice system had no interest in justice. They refused to accept any evidence. And let's face it, if um, you need to work to feed your kids and there's no child support coming in, it is relevant that you can't go to court 24/7. That affects your employment. And, but a judge doesn't want to hear that. They want to hear that as, you should be in court 24/7, because that's showing a judge respect. That, if something's going on, you should show up, and it doesn't matter that you have to feed your kids. So there was no relevance, no concept there that kids needed to be fed, and there's no way you can feed these kids while you're fighting, an abusive man that'll be in court 24/7. No judge will even accept any evidence of the level of abuse, emotional or physical abuse. That is not relevant, so they don't receive that. How is that? Is definitely relevant, because if I went to school in programming that could have earned me my own income where I didn't need this guy's income, that level of abuse that I was dealing with was preventing me from working. It was also injuring my health, both physically and emotionally, which was, going to destroy our economic system if I'm not able to have the human rights to work and live in an environment that's healthy. But that's not relevant in any court case. No judge wants to hear that, because why? A judge is very abusive. They are wealthy people that happen to not even comprehend that emotional abuse is real. Why? Because they're guilty of emotional abuse. They can't relate to the human condition. They are the abusers. They are control freaks. So they will never understand what a control freak can actually do to another person's life, because they don't see that. Otherwise, if they seen that, they wouldn't do what they do themselves. So at the end of the day, um, you'll never, ever, ever find any justice. You can trust without a doubt there are more criminals walking the street than there are criminals in our jail systems. When you hear somebody is innocent and they're in jail, chances are they are innocent. But again, we don't comprehend emotional behavior. That when somebody is really, really pissed off because they had their human rights violated, your pissed offness makes you look like you're guilty of something. And judges will perceive you to be guilty just because you're angry, just because you have an emotion. And the ones that are calm and pleasant and manipulating, judges kind of like that because that's who they are. They're at one with these type of people, so they will always see that these type of people are in the right. Now you just picture yourself. If you just stole everybody's money and you got a lot of wealth and you're able to buy that big car and take that big vacation and buy every single thing that makes you happy, are you not more calm? What's your emotions like? You're confident, you know how to manipulate that friggin' system. So a judge is at one with that because that's what they are. They feel without a doubt at one with the criminal because judges are criminals and they can't reflect on themselves. Now, again, my case had to deal with child support, and nobody wants to recognize that that's even an issue. But this is dealing with family. This is destroying family. This is the root cause of why every single thing is being destroyed. Because when you destroy the family, you destroy the children, you destroy us as people. And then as people, we go out into the world and create the reality that we create. So this is what causes criminals. This is definitely teaching our children crime pays. This is definitely teaching good paying taxpayers, that the victims are always going to be the ones responsible for everything that goes wrong. The proof in that is that, how many people are critical of people that are homeless or people that are on a welfare system. If you don't want your justice, if you don't want to see anything is wrong within your justice system, then you've got to wake up that you are creating a need for a welfare system. You can be lazy and not do anything about this, but if you go into work every day and your taxes, are increasing, and it's going towards, financially supporting people on a welfare system, you are paying the price. I am on a welfare system because of this. There's no getting off this system, simply because our world is friggin' screwed up, and I am refusing to turn into them. I'd rather be participating in the solution, so I am productive. I'm not stupid. Um, and I'm going to be productive, spreading information on YouTube like this. But we need to start waking up and changing what we believe to be true, because just about everything we believe to be true is wrong, and you will never, ever find any justice in a justice system. But you can always hope, but it won't happen. You got a higher chance of being proved wrong if you play the game in a court system.